I was the eldest in my household, and the eldest, and I had two younger siblings. So I had different pressures on my shoulders. However, I had a lot more riding on what I did, like they would say. So I could rebel. But you weren't the youngest in your household. That brings it separate pressures for you because, like, you have to follow a certain lead.
Obviously, you as the eldest, another man, you as the youngest, you would have had two very different dynamics in the house, wouldn't you? Whereas the youngest has got everybody overlooking them. Possibly slightly less tension from the parents, whereas Snain, you as the eldest, you are almost deputizing moral authority in the house as well, aren't you, to care over your siblings?
Yeah, but for me, it was just prime example. I just did what I wanted to do. I've no regrets about anything I've done. I think I was just a free-spirited rebel, really. I just wanted to do exactly what I wanted to do. And I still remember those conversations I used to have with my mum and dad. They used to be fearful of, oh, what's he going to do now, type of thing. And I was like, no, well, I'm not doing anything out of the norm, but I want to be able to experience the other side. And it's not the dark side, but, like I wanted to see how they was live. And like you said, Abdul, that you had so many friends from different walks of life. I was lucky to have that as well. I had friends from all walks of life and different cultures and backgrounds. And that really gave me an understanding how we're all similar. Whether you're from the West or whether you're from the Far East, we all have certain values that are all similar, which is try your best not to make a fool of yourself. That's that was one of the things we were told. And also respect each other. And I think respect is a massive thing where in our generation growing up, that was ingrained in us. Respect your elders and respect the people below you as well, the young ones as well.
We've touched on various topics, but in terms of the name aspect of our cultural identity, do you think we've kind of that's changed? Because if you think of our forefathers and our fathers' generation, they would be called by their first name and they'll hold tight to it. Whereas all of us have, over the years, have different derivatives of our names. I've been known as Ish, I've been known as Ishaq, I've been known as Ishaq, I've been known as a few things in between. It demonstrated it earlier. That's name. Abdurrahman, we've called you Abi, we've called you Abdur, and so forth. Do you think that's a consequence of us trying to adapt our cultural identity? I know for me, Ish came about, well, one, I liked it and it was easy to say, but second, people were messing my name up. I mean, there's only 5 characters in my name. I'd get called Ishq, I'll get called Ishtiaq, I even got called Fisher, and I was like, what? How did you get that one? But yeah, it's that thing, isn't it? That perspective that we, almost how we see ourselves and trying to fit in and having something that's easy on the lip. So, I guess we kind of fit in a bit more easier. And is that us trying to adapt and be a bit more freer with people around us?
But we've always had pet names in our household. I mean, I've always been called Sonny. I don't know where that came from, but it's always been there, and I've always had it to the point. I remember when I was in primary school going into middle school, because we are from that era. But my teacher came up to me and she said, do you want to be called Sonny or by your first name? And me being all grown up going to middle school, I said, I'll be preferred to be called by my first name. But in primary school, everybody knew me as Sonny. So we had always had those pet names. And in our household, even my relatives and back in Pakistan, in Lahore, they've all had pet, nicknames, as we should say. And we've always known each other by nicknames. So I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but it's always been like that for me in my house, personally speaking. So I don't know about you, Abdul, but it's always been, you've known me as Sonny, and a lot of my friends till this day, I kid you not, will still know me as Sonny. And it's almost like when they find out my real name, they'll be alienated. They'll be like, hey, is that what your real name is? And it's like, that's all they know me as, which is fine by me, because if you know me by my first name or my other nickname, pet name. So
I'm one of those, because I until very recently I didn't know your first name was Asnain, and I've worked with you in the workplace. We started a job together, and it was like you learn something new every day, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So one thing that I'd say is that I guess for the audience as well. So Hasnan and I, we grew up together. We've known each other as children, and as I was introducing this episode, I referred to you as Hasnan, and I very rarely refer to you as from your first name. Right? I call you Boone. I think it started off as Sonny, then it transitioned into Boone. So I know you as Boone now.
Yeah.
So it felt a little bit awkward, right? Even addressing you by your first name. So hopefully you're comfortable with that. I mean, let me know if you're not, but that's the way that I've always addressed you.
But I've got to that point in my life where, as long as you know me and you respect me and you can call me what you want, I don't get upset by anything. And I've got loads of pet names. And Sunny was my nickname for years. Then it turned to Bunny, and then it turned. I mean, in a professional setting, obviously, I'm always known by my first name. But it's good to have that because it gives you that a relaxed demeanor when you're with your friends. People are more relaxed with you when they call you. But if my mum ever called me by she still calls me by my nickname at home. But the minute she uses my first name, I know I'm in serious bother. She'll be like, Hasnan, I need to speak
Yeah.
to you. And that's all she'll say on the phone, and I'll be like, okay, what have I done? And all these thoughts run through my mind. Did I do this? Did I do this? Did somebody say this? Was I seen somewhere? And I remember that at the age of 18, when I used to be out with my friends a lot, late at night, and my mum used to say, Hasnan, I need you to be home now. And she'd leave a voicemail, and that's blessed her. She could do that time, and I was like, okay. We didn't have WhatsApp at that time, and I dare not ring her back. I thought it's late. Why rock the boat even more? So I would go home, and then she'll give me telling off, and she says, "Look, we've given you the freedom to do what you want. However, you are going above and beyond your limits now. So it all comes down to that point that
It is.
I was allowed to be free to be me, and we've all had different upbringings, even though we're all under the umbrella of being British Asian."
100%.
And it's worth just mentioning and reiterating for the audience that though we're all from Bradford and we're all born and bred here, our cultural heritage arises from different parts of Pakistan, and again, similar to England, each part of Pakistan comes with its unique, distinct characteristics. But just touching on the other nickname that you've got, where did Bunny come from?
Well, do you know what? I think it was just Bugs Bunny, wasn't it, on television? It was
It
massive
was.
then. But
It
just
was.
on that point, you made a wonderful point. Where you come from, Pakistan, could shape your identity as well. And I don't know whether you agree with that, but I remember growing up,
Completely.
and I grew up in a predominant area where a lot of the people that we grew up with were from the Azad Kashmir parts of Pakistan. And I'm not trying to digress here, but I think it's really important I bring this in. I
Definitely.
remember growing up, and I think it was at the age of 17, going on to 18, last year of A levels, and all this business of where you're from came into the mix. And I would say, well, from Pakistan, my parents are, but where exactly are you from? Let us know. And I was like, well, last time I was told, and I know of this because I've been to Pakistan a few times, we're from Lahore. And then straight away, people would look at me, you guys are too modern, you're from the city. And I would look at them and think, I don't understand where that's come from, because you've known me all my life. You know exactly what I'm all about. You know my family now. Where has this come from? And then they'll ask me the second question, but what caste are you? And I was like, what do you mean by caste? I'm Pakistani. And it was all alien to me that what caste meant. And they were like, no, but are you this type of person? Is this your family? This? And I honestly was looking at them in sheer amazement. I'm thinking, I do not know how to answer that question, but all I can say to you, I'm from Pakistan. My parents are from Pakistan. We're from Lahore. And that's how it was. I don't know how it was for you, Abdul, or you, Isaac, but for me, if you didn't say you were from a certain area or Pakistan, I think your friendship started to divide a bit as well for some reason. For me, it was almost like, oh, you're from this end, away from this. I don't know where that came from.
Completely. No, completely. I completely relate to that. I don't know if you do, Abdur, but there was this linkage back to, well, zone it in. Where exactly are you from? And it's kind of funny, isn't it? Because even now in this day and age, where we can turn it on its head, where you can get asked by somebody who's not Asian, well, so where are you from? And they don't mean Bradford. They want to know where you're from, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and they don't necessarily want to zoom in. But Asian people have done that for years, but and they've been more specific about wanting to get down to the city, the village level, because each area does come with its own perception.
Unfortunately, on that point as well, just to add, I remember distinctively, I had a lot of friends in Leeds when I was 18. I had a lot of friends in Manchester, and they would say to me, you don't seem like a guy who's from Bradford. And I was taken back by that. And I remember me and my friend, a really good friend of mine, we were together, and we'll bring him to the podcast sometime in the future, and he could probably vouch and recall the story. And we both looked at each other and we thought, well, what do you mean we're not from Bradford? We are from. No, but you don't sound as though you're from Bradford. You don't dress as though you're from Bradford. You don't come across being Bradford boys or Bradford lads. And we're like, no, we are. Oh no, they had a certain stereotype of people from Bradford, and it was almost like this East is East. You know that movie East, East is East or something. They thought
Yep.
people from Bradford were typical backward, narrow-minded, and I took it to an offence because I remember I got really heated with them, and I thought, no. That's your misunderstanding of how people are from Bradford. There are people who may be like that, but the majority of us are not like that. That there's a few of us who actually are the way we are, and I found it really weird. And they would treat you differently the minute they knew you were from Bradford.